lot of the gurus are selling generic spirituality, very diluted. They've taken out that which will not be digestible to the Westerner, rather than challenging the Westerner that you have to transform. And I can help you transform. And actually, if they did that, they'd be surprised how many takers there would be. People want the authentic, but they're being given the simple, diluted, easy to get market share, easy to get a lot of clients. You can expand and become a global empire very quickly. But for a lot of people, for whatever reason, and I give all the psychological, based on many interviews of people who U-turn, come up with why they give up stage 1. Maybe it's too hard, maybe India is very difficult, a lot of mosquitoes, they fell ill, or they had a bad experience, or whatever. So stage 2 is when they can sort of remove the non-digestible elements and call it universal generic spiritualism, which is easier to handle, which is sort of like, not as intense. And they can say, the ego can justify it by saying, but this is more, everybody is universal, we're all one, why do we need to have all these things? There's always an argument of logic why they want to reject and give up certain aspects. So this is kind of stage 2. And I think Deepak Chopra type people feed stage 2. Really, the clientele is stage 2. Baba Ramdev's clientele would be stage 1. Mata Amita Mayanan's clientele would be stage 1. So those kinds of, they're more sort of wanting to make sure that you've got the whole experience. So that's stage 2, is a sort of decontextualizing. So stage 1 is in the original context. Stage 2 is decontextualized. Stage 3 is recontextualized. Now it is recontextualized as Western. It is now lucid dreaming, which has a neurological patent-based, organization behind it, and its philosophical dimensions are derived from Western thinkers. So what they do is they look for Western thinkers who may not have said the same thing, but who could be, it could be implied that they might have meant the same thing. And so they are treated as a source. So the whole history of spiritual thought, the whole history of neuroscience, the whole history of medicinal plants has been rewritten in order to map it onto Western trajectories. Okay, and these are all stomachs, each one of them, the medicine, the culture, the spiritual, religious type, they're all different stomachs feeding into Western universalism. So that is stage 4, which is re-Westernizing or Westernizing all these things. And much of what we call the West is actually a product of these U-turns that have happened with the encounter with various civilizations. I write about that at length. And then stage 4 is a very explicit rejection of the source. The source is rejected because it's primitive, it's abusive and oppressive, as if the Western history has not been. It is, it is not progressive enough. And if we recharacterize it in our framework, we can take it forward and give the gift to all of humanity. But if it is kept in the original framework, then it will be more limited. This is kind of an argument given. That is stage 4. And 5 is when all of this reconstituted Western universalism is re-exported back to India, and Indians love to study it. Like, wow, I got this emotional intelligence seminar. When you talk to the guy who invented emotional intelligence, he was studying gurus, he was studying with Buddhists and Hindus, and when in his dissertation at Harvard, they said if you do too much of this guru stuff, you're never going to get your degree. So he writes about how he had to clean out some of these things. So, but the Indian modern elite in Delhi, which is the circle I know best, I went to St. Stephen's College. A lot of elite people are produced from there. So when I go there and I tell them that I always have to start a spiritual discussion by introducing a Westerner. I have to even say, Madonna is doing this, and they all get interested. Or I say there's going to be a seminar on emotional intelligence by such and such guy from a very prestigious place, they get interested. So I have to reintroduce their own heritage by letting the Western package universalism get in. And once the door is open, then I have to explain that there is a loss of authenticity here in the digestion process. So whereas if I were to come in and say that, do this, which my grandfather, it reminds them of their grandfather, that's what they rejected. See, the colonization caused them to reject their own heritage. So the purpose of the U-turn is to reverse it, is become conscious of it So we can reverse it. And the purpose of discussing being different is to make people, both Indians and Westerners, conscious of this unconscious digestion that is going on, so they can reflect on it.